What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Good, man. Hey, once again, this is another episode live with James, and I have here a good friend of mine, Daniel Felter. And we do these interviews every Thursday at 11 o'clock, where we're interviewing somebody that's adding value to the real estate community. So definitely tune in, and we're going to talk a little bit about referrals and building a business that way, coaching, and just networking in and of itself. But before we go in any further with that part of it, my friend Daniel, tell us about your journey, man. We've known each other for a while now, but tell us about your journey, man. How you kind of got into real estate in and of itself. I mean, I think it's really important for that. Those beginning steps and just kind of laying down that whole foundation.
Well, I have to say this first. I don't usually go live on anything because last time I went live, I showed the whole world my bubble bath regimen. So this is the first live since that one little incident. No, I'm just kidding. I made it up. How did I get into real estate? Is that the question?
That's the question, man.
So I was in college and became homeless for a short period of time because my roommate got us evicted. And I had to find a place to go and live. So I came home from Cancun with my girlfriend, found him, my roommate, and his mother moving all this stuff out. And I was like, "What's up? What's happening?" And they said, "You were evicted." And I said, "Well, I haven't seen any notices." And he said, "Well, you hit them." So the next day was Monday. I went to the court and got a 15-day stay because of the situation. And then I had to drive around and find somewhere to live. So I started driving around and found a old brick house from the 1950s, a ranch. Two older gentlemen were working and they were really spent. It was late at night and they were exhausted and they felt like they had done the wrong thing, I think, by buying that house. So I simply gave them the opportunity to let me paint it, leave the paint, the tools, the buckets, everything. I'd take care of it. I'd pay them $100 a month. I mean, $100 a week, and I'd fix it, and they'd only finance it for me. And 6, 8 months later, I was done with the house. I had somewhere to live, and didn't have showers, didn't have heat, didn't have air, anything like that for a long time. And then I started renting out the rooms, and I realized, hey, um, my bills are all paid. So if I got roommates from college, bills were paid. I went and did it again, repeat and rinse. And usually the next question is, how did I pay for repairs? So I had a little scholarship, I had a little Hope grant, and I basically used credit cards. I had 33 credit cards. By the time I was 22, I had done this 16 times.
Wow.
And that's how I got into real estate. I never got into real estate for being a real estate agent or a realtor. I got in it to be an investor, and I was kind of forced in it because obviously I didn't have any money. I was 19 years old, so I didn't have any money. My parents didn't have any money to buy me houses or anything like that. So then, but I'd go and I'd find houses that had hardship cases, people that were sick, people that didn't live in the state, and I would spend all my free time in the deeds room finding info on people and calling people and asking them to own finance.
Man, that is amazing, man.
And Wednesday nights, every Wednesday night, I would get a new teaser rate on 33 different credit cards. Or I'd move money from one credit card to another credit card to another credit card, and then I had to pay all that debt back. And I use student loans. I don't know if I mentioned that. I use student loans too for big items like air conditions and stuff like that.
Man, that is a back against the wall moment. Not having to know where to stay and having to like just go ahead and create somewhere to stay. So,
There's opportunities everywhere. You just gotta dig them up.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. So, all right, so you've done that. Obviously are being successful. As a real estate investor. What made you make that transition into like, now I'm gonna do sales?
So I was kind of I wouldn't say legally, but I was skirting the lines of representing people, buying houses and doing lease purchases and stuff like that. I called them wraparounds. I think today they call them sandwiches. But anyway, and I was asked by the state to get licensed, kindly asked to get licensed. So then I thought, well, how am I going to do that? who's going to pay for it. I don't want to pay for it. So I always try to find somebody else to pay for your stuff. And I went to a nationally recognized builder and said, I want to be on site. I'll do sales, and you guys give me 6 months, 3 months, whatever it was, to get licensed. Y'all pay for it, and I'll take every single training. And by 3 months later, I was licensed. They paid for it, and then I had 5 subdivisions that I was over for that national builder. And I got bit by the new construction bug at that point. It wasn't sales, it was new construction. I loved it. I loved the smell of drywall. I loved the smell of the paint. I loved the smell of the new carpet. I mean, it was addictive. And so I just started selling. And then I thought, well, I want to get out of the new construction because I felt like I was in a cage. I was there all the time. So I got out of that and said, I'm going to go do general real estate. So I had my license. So I found the number one developer builder realtor combo in Cherokee County, made a move to Cherokee County, started selling $1 million houses, and that's when I started doing subdivisions and developing and building and controlling builders and everything I always did. I always got in behind the scenes. So I would work my way in to, let me be a sweat equity kind of partner with you guys. I don't have millions of dollars like you do. So I would go in and I'd start paying bills. I would help, kind of like a controller, whatever they call it. I would go in, build Excel spreadsheets, make sure all the checks were cut in the boxes on Friday or Thursday night for the contractors and vendors to pick up on Friday. And I just was learning. I just wanted to keep learning. How do they build and schedule houses? How do they? We did some shopping centers. That was good too. My actual degree, 4-year degree, I'm a weirdo. It's in real estate marketing and real estate finance. Very few people have that degree that actually go into sales. If you know someone with that degree, they typically are doing weighted averages all day, doing analysis for shopping centers or for student housing for a college. That's all they do all day long is research and numbers. And I did do that. I did that with the number one guy when I came out of school, and I lasted exactly 7 days because I was in an office running numbers, working on spreadsheets. And although I love a good spreadsheet, it was super boring. And one day the phone rang. I told the assistant, don't answer it. I got it. I want to talk to somebody. And I left there and I said, man, I can't do this. I just can't do it. I got to talk. So that's what I've been. That was another part of it. Hit me with another question. Did I answer that question?
No, man. I mean, it seems, yeah, you answered it, but it seems like everything that you've done is kind of a work to learn type thing.
It is everything. If when you stop learning, you're dormant. And when you're dormant, you're like the grass in the wintertime. You're not dead. You're just not green. You're not doing it, not finding something. So I have to do something to keep going. I mean, I do podcasts, I do YouTube stuff. I'm gonna check out your YouTube channel to see some of these other interviews. I consume. I'm a consumer, and at a pretty high level, and I just want to learn. And I do sales and scripts. I've taught scripting and stuff with you guys. Um, Done coaching programs and put on coaching programs and you mentioned referrals. So one of the big things I've tried to do with the real estate business, I've owned brokerages, all that kind of stuff. One thing that I wanted to do was get agents where they could go from part-time to full-time. That was important because I want to work with full-time agents. I want to raise the bar in real estate, period. And I want to work with full-time agents. I want to help them. So by giving them referrals and giving them business and then helping them take it from A to B to C to D as fast as possible, they learned and they get another one, and they get another one. And so I try to bring in the leads and then share them out, and then I get a tiny piece of it. And I mean, that's the referral piece that I've done. There's nothing, I mean, we build lead funnels and stuff like that, like everybody in our group does. But there's no secrets to it. It's just trying to build agents and help agents and do these Zoom calls and things every day to answer their questions and help them on production or whatever they need, contract to close, whatever.
Man, I'm just thinking about like when me and you when we first met, and we were actually
Where were we?
we was in the car and we was headed to
Ah,
North
that's right.
Carolina. Remember?
Yeah, we
Um,
went to Charlotte, I think.
we went to yeah, Charlotte,
And
North
Dan
Carolina.
Hilton didn't feed me all day.
He didn't feed nobody. That's the thing. Like we was all in the car riding up there
This guy got to eat.
to hear Gove. right? The here goes speech,
Yes, right. That's right.
and the whole time we just thinking like, man, we're hungry. We want some
Everything
food.
they had on that table to eat for that banquet thing had mayonnaise in it, and I don't eat anything white. So if it ain't sugar, that's the only thing they eat that's white. So yeah, I didn't get to eat all day.
Yeah, yeah. But one thing I noticed, I knew one that you were like really good and knew what you were doing, and then the second thing, you were funny as I don't know what. What I'm saying? Like, I mean, like the jokes was rolling from the time we got in the car into the time we got out, just kind of flowing with stuff. But with your personality though, I think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They had to love you or they hate you, right? I mean, that's kind of like how it goes. Have
That's
you
how it
heard that
should go.
before?
That's how it should go. 50% of people should hate you and not like your personality, and 50% should love you and go to bat for you, and they become advocates for you. And typically, True Kathy actually told me that one time. He said, and I was a little kid, I was probably, I don't know, 10, 12 years old. And he said, look at people on the radio, on talk radio, look at people on TV. People with opinions, people go to people with opinions for opinions. You have to find your tribe. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. Find those people. Fence sitters lose in life. And I didn't know what he was talking about, at 10, 12 years old, whatever it was. And he always said, fail forward, you have to fail. And here's what was something crazy is he wrote a book called, what was that book called? It's easier to succeed than to fail. But every time I ever had, I had, several conversations with the man. And when I had him, he was always talking about failure. He didn't talk about succeeding. He's like, you don't learn unless you fail something. If you know how to spell all the words on the spelling test, you didn't learn anything until you got one wrong. So go find some words you can't spell, and then that's how you get better at spelling. And stuff like that. But it was crazy. He wrote a book, said it's easier to succeed than to fail, but that's really what it was about. And but yeah, that's so fence sitters get left behind. And typically, when somebody doesn't like your personality, it's more about them than it is about you, right? Because they don't get all this giving that we do. You know how much giving we put out, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm on Zoom calls all day long helping agents and helping people that aren't in our group, that aren't in our team, that aren't in our brokerage or anything. And I just want to raise the bar in real estate. But sometimes also your personality needs to strike people. They don't put boring people on TV for a reason, right?
True.
Boring people don't typically write books. If they do, it's some sort of fictional thing.
Man, so I mean, I believe personally that like having that type of one confidence and understanding that what you just laid out, it actually makes you a better leader, one, and also a teacher, because like you're able to just give raw material to people and meet them right where they are. And sometimes I heard Tony Robbins say, he said, sometimes people just need to, like, if you're overweight, somebody just need to get behind you and be like, run, run, one of those type deals. So
Yeah,
like, do you think that has helped you, like when you helping other agents or trying to get them to the point where they're getting better in production?
I think that I understand that I can't understand material for people. I can lay things out for them and tell them how to get from A to B the fastest or the easiest or the most probability of success, but I can't understand it for them. They have to put in the work. If they don't grasp concepts quickly, I'll simply tell them you got to go do some work on this thing. And I think you do need to be upfront with people. I mean, this is a profession that I'm in. This isn't. I'm not like a teacher that's trying to help somebody. I don't want to coddle somebody. I want to say, this is it. You do it or you don't do it. I really firmly believe either you do or you don't do. There's no try. If somebody says they try to me, I just say they ain't coming. They're not going to do it. There's a video that I share with people all the time. It's a guy named Art Williams. Do you know who Art Williams is?
No.
If you guys don't know who Art Williams is, go find him on YouTube. Super, super successful, built the largest insurance brokerages, life insurance brokerages, bigger than the top 5 all combined. a little football coach from a high school football coach from Monroe, Georgia. He calls it Monroe, so Monroe, and um, and he's got the dialect to prove it. And he's like, just do it, just do it, just do it. And that's what you do. You got to get up and go. Everybody has issues. When I say get on the call, you don't get on the call. That's up to you. I mean, everybody has issues. Everybody has life. Everybody's got kids that get sick. You saw me the other day. My kid was on the call, right? I mean, we're gonna get on the call. Y'all gonna see him because he was sick the other day, and he wants to sit up in my lap, and he's clingy when he's sick. And we had people here to take care of him, but he wanted to come in here and see what's going on. So you just deal with what it is, and you keep going. I don't know. And being up front, I don't want somebody to tell me something just because they think that's what I want to hear. I just want the truth, the facts, lay it out, and let me put the pieces together. Right? If somebody tells you something's gonna be easy, it ain't gonna be. There ain't nothing easy. Nothing comes easy that's worth having. And if it does come easy, you don't really want it, right? You always want what you can't have. You always want to keep pushing that goal down the road. No matter what field you're in or what you're doing or athletics or raising your kid, any kids, anything like that. You want to push them too. You don't want to coddle them. You don't want to coddle yourself. You want to get up 4:30 in the morning and get after life. And do something that you're excited about doing, or don't do it. Like I always say job. This is going to be offensive to a lot of people, but I don't care. I always call job just over broke. If you notice, in all professions, they just put you just enough, keep you over broke. I also say job is jump out of bed to build someone else's dream, because that's really what you're doing. And look, here's what we do. We build generational wealth by helping people with real property ownership. That's our job. It's more than filling in contracts and blanks and stuff. If you look at it as doing that, we're handling millions and millions of dollars of people's money every month, right? Their life, their kids, where they're sleeping. That matters. That matters. If you look at it as just filling in blanks and making a check, you're probably not doing the right thing.
Yeah, love it, man. I love it. So, I can tell, like, you're very passionate about, that part of it that you were just going over. Right? I
Yeah,
mean, is there?
I know that. Here's my personality too, man. And I know this is you guys too. I know this is you too, just because I relate to you. When you want to do something, man, you're going to do it. And it's going to happen, right? There ain't nothing that's going to stop you from doing it, right? Am I right or am I right?
Absolutely.
But when you don't want to do something, there ain't nothing that's going to make you do it.
Yeah.
Nothing. You can't have a team of mules pull you out of doing something that you want to do, and it can't make you do it. So, and that's what's important. That's why you have this platform, right? That's why people are listening to your platform. You're not just sitting on the fence, and you throw in your opinion here and there on this stuff, I'm sure, or no one would tune in. If you just had somebody that wasn't excited and passionate and just sat there and said, I got my license in 2000 and sold 14 houses and helped, your YouTube channel will fail.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, I always say with any agent, man, like you gotta kind of you got to change how you think, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about here as well. Because if you're thinking that you got to make everybody like you, if you're thinking that the world got to be perfect in order for you to make a move or make a decision, if you're thinking that like I don't want to work to learn, I want to make my money right now. Like
Yeah.
all that stuff is like the wrong thing to do if you're trying to grow personally and professionally and grow your income as well. I heard so many people, they say like, your income usually is determined by what you have inside of you. So if you invest enough inside of you, then you're gonna start to change and you're gonna start to gravitate. You're gonna start to do, like you said, like you put something in front of us, and it's something that we want. We're about to move mountains to get to it. We're gonna do
Right.
whatever
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
takes.
You
You
are
know,
moving mountains. You are moving mountains, and you're helping thousands of people, man. I'm not talking about just on the real estate thing. I'm talking about in the systems that we're in. You're changing people's lives. You're changing their children's lives and the lives of the children that they have. It's this generation. It's important. This isn't. playing Scrabble or something. Or, you know what I'm saying? This isn't some little thing. This is a big deal, and we should treat it as a big deal. How many agents do you know that just walk around and the sky's falling and they're going to put everything turns from a little molehill into a mountain? Oh, I helped do this, because they're always trying to justify their fees, or we had to do this with an inspector, and none of that stuff matters. Yeah, right. You just do it and you move the mountain.
Yeah.
People are looking at this going, "What in the world are they talking about?" They're going, "Man,
Moving
these guys are having two total separate conversations." Oh,
talking about moving mountains. That what we're talking about.
that's what we're moving.
So man, like one thing I know we had spoke before that was really interesting that you had a take on for sale by owners. Um,
Oh
and
Lord, how long ago was that? All right, what is that?
you had like
Remind me.
was it
Remind me what we're talking about.
you
What?
had the what I call the Herman Cain plan at the time, the 999. Remember that?
Okay. You talking about my real estate? Sell your property with a real estate fee as low as
Yeah,
$990.
exactly. So like well, first can you tell everybody what that was at that
So that
particular?
was something that back when people couldn't sell their houses, so we're in a different little ice cream markets, what I
Yeah.
call this. You put a sign in the yard and you got offers. They don't close, they don't all close, but you can get offers. Well, there was a time when people couldn't get offers. And if they did get offers and they were a FISBO, they were getting 25% low ball offer, 30% low ball offer, up to 50% off the price. And the first thing they do is they say, oh, they don't have an agent. Let's go ahead and knock 10% off of that, off of the price. So that's how FISBO world thinks and works. So I thought, well, if they're bottom in the bottom because they can't afford it, then I'll make the phone ring just like if we don't sell your house, we'll buy it, or if which I think you guys use. If I don't have it under contract in 30 days or whatever that day is, period is, I'll pay you. Well, you can't legally pay somebody, so you got to pay them at closing. So you still got to have it sold and move the ball down the field. But so I came up with a 990 program and started marketing just to make the phone ring, and it's still a full commission. It's not a deal. But if they were willing to do some work and carry the load, open houses, signage, social media posts, it's all laid out for them. Then so it works great for investors. It works great for flippers. It works great for people that live next to the house that they're trying to sell, so they can do that. They get all the information from the people, and I can share how it all works. But basically, they get me buyers and other sellers that they go to work kind of for me, and then I reduce some of the fees out for it. But it's still that's if they find their own buyer, right? If they find their own person and there's not another brokerage represented, and I don't do anything but the contract work in the whole situation. So yeah, and it made the phone ring like crazy. I could go set my car up. I had a car that was 100% wrapped, and I would set it in front of like a Home Depot or a Lowe's or any kind of hardware lumber store, and I could get 15, 20 leads in a couple of hours. People calling me. I didn't have a number on it. They had to scan a QR code so I could track and get their number. So they would scan a QR code. They'd get some information. It would go out to them automatically, and then I'd call them back and say, "What do you got?" And if they were in like a bad high school district or something like that, then I wouldn't deal with it. I'd say, no, I can't do that program for you. It's not applicable for you. But if it's in a great school district and it's a house that'll sell, because you want them to be able to sell it and do the program. You don't want them to try it and then not work the program. So there's certain caveats that you need to be able to do as a marketing person and statistically to make things happen. Because the last thing you want to do is do that plan and then it not happen for them. Right. So
Yeah.
the goal is to put their money in their pocket. The goal is to put their equity, whether somebody's buying or selling, put the most amount in their pocket, whatever they need, in the time frame they need that fits their life, and with the least amount of hassle. If you do something that creates hassle, then you did it wrong.
Yeah, the reason I was asking that question because I know we're definitely in a different market at that right now versus then is just the pivot, right?
Yeah.
Like you saw an opportunity and you
Right.
understood marketing, and therefore you put something, your unique selling proposition, to make you stand out versus everybody else in order to get
Differentiation is the
people
key to
coming in.
life, man.
Yeah.
Differentiation is the key to life.
Yeah. So you started doing that, but you got tons of people like right now in this market, and they're like, oh, it's hard to find listings. Oh, what do you do to get listings? It's like, no, there's an opportunity in every single market. You gotta recognize the opportunity, get the like you said, make yourself different than everybody else, and then be able to
Mm.
step out there in order to do it. So right now we got guaranteed offers. Like that's the big one right now. But you can actually even do a pivot off of that and say guaranteed three offers or guaranteed five offers. It's just depending on like what the situation is,
Right.
to make yourself stand out. And that's just one of them. You could, it's tons of different programs that you can do,
Well,
right?
find something that has a problem. You have to solve a problem, right? Bigger the problem you solve, the more money you get paid. So the smaller the problem, the smaller the check. So if you could find a problem right now, well, maybe not exactly right now, but it's coming. Um, Build your unique selling proposition by appraisals. We're going to have a big slide on homes appraising, right? So these people are putting, we're what, like 30% or something year over year in appreciation for Metro Atlanta. Some other markets are the same way, and some may be more than that. They're not going to appraise because the appraisers are behind you. Can you see my hand? The
Yeah.
appraisers are behind you. They're always behind. It's like when we market and we go with appraisers are in the rearview mirror always. So when somebody puts their house on the market, sells for $1 million, and then the neighbor says, "Ah, they just got $1 million. I'm gonna put mine on for $1,250,000." And but there's that gap there, and we're going to see these gaps close up here pretty soon. I predict anyway. And as this ice cream market kind of melts down, and we're going to see a lot of agents get out of business, and we're going to see a lot of good agents rise back to the top, and we're going to see a lot of people that just got into business learn it the best way, to actually do it versus just putting a sign up and then trying to deal with inspections and things. That's what they're trying to do. Do you remember when people used to go out and put a $250,000 offer on a house that was 240, and then when they get their home inspection, they would ask for 50 grand back? You remember that was just like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would never happen in today's market, but that's what was happening. So you have to pivot and work with what's working. My bulldog just walked in here like, who are you talking
So man, all right. So you know, going into 2022, man. Like I mean, I know, like I said, you're doing the referrals. You're coaching agents. You're networking. You're helping people out. What's the plan like going into 2022? I know you got one.
My plan for 2022 is to expose as many people, 1,000 people, through the network as I can to our real estate brokerage. That's my plan. That's my plan, so I can be like you. And I got your picture on my wall. I won't be like you. And I got to be more willing to do things that you do in order to do that, right? So that's my goal, is to expose 400 people personally, and then through the rest of our group, another 600 people. So that's my goal, 1,000 people, and help everybody to do that. Because I think well, I don't think, I mean, I know we're changing lives. We're changing people's lives. And somebody today was talking about, well, it's kind of narcissistic. And I said, is it narcissistic that you put an extra $174,000 in your pocket this year, in your family's checking account this year, but you don't want to tell anybody about how you did that? That's more selfish than what somebody cares about you on Facebook. Who cares what somebody cares, right? Those are their problems. You need to take care of your checking account and other people's as well. If you have a model, we only do better when we know better. We don't know better unless we're exposed to something, right? You got to be exposed to it. So my goal of 2022 is 1,000 people exposure. I don't know how it's going to work out, but it sounded good. You
but
tell me how you think it's going to work out. I mean, I don't know, but all we can do is try. Right? I mean, make it happen. Just do it.
dude,
You might have 1,000 people that say, "Dude, you're crazy." I'm gonna tell me something I don't know already.
Man, John Kitchens talk about that, that big hairy audacious goal, right? Out there, you put it out there to the universe, you put it out there,
Yeah.
and then what happens is then your brain start to kind of kick in to kind of figure it out. I mean, it's tons of stuff that I've said that, hey, I'm gonna do this thing here, and I knew
Right.
I had no idea how I was gonna get there or what was gonna take to get there. But because I put it out there, and honestly, I write stuff down, put it on my refrigerator, the whole 9 yards, start speaking to it, and then things just start to kind of gravitate towards that direction. And
That's right.
that's what you just did right now, man. Like you
What do
said.
they call that? They call it Raz or something, right? Like when you like I bought we bought a sequoia. My wife wanted a sequoia. I don't even know how to spell sequoia. Didn't never heard of one. And we went to Florida, came back, and she's like, I want to stop looking. So we went across the street and we looked at bought a sequoia. And on the way home, I started noticing everybody has a Sequoia. They're everywhere. It was like the number one selling vehicle for like 5 years or something of SUVs, right? That were over 6,000 pounds for the tax break or credit or whatever it was. And I literally pulled into the neighborhood, and every other driveway I think had either a Yukon or a Sequoia in the driveway. Never had brought into my top of mind awareness. I never was aware of it before. I just drove down the road and didn't care what kind of car people had until, and I'm like, man, look at this. Everybody's got the same thing. It's funny how that works. But yeah, speaking it in is you gotta let people know. Man, I don't know how many people just are gonna know now because I don't know how many people follow this, but it's up, people. It's gonna happen. Look at your life. Look at your life 4 years ago, 4 years ago till today,
Yeah, you're right.
and you'll never, most likely, earn less money for another January than you did this January ever again. That's powerful, dude. That's powerful.
It's amazing, man.
Some people look at this going, what are they talking about? If you don't know, reach out. Hit James up.
Definitely, man. But Daniel, man, it's like I said, it's awesome, man. It's always a joy talking to you, buddy. And if nobody else got anything out of it, I got something out of it. And I just the back and forth between us, man, is genuine,
It's
right?
fun. It's always fun.
Yeah, yeah. So once again, like we do these every Thursday, where we're actually interviewing an agent that's bringing tremendous value to the industry. Once again, man, I appreciate you, Daniel, dude. Hey, when you do those 1,000 exposures, we gotta have you back, brother.
All right.
Gotta
I'll
have you
prove
back.
it. I'll prove it.
All right.
Thanks,
Until the
man.
next one. All right. See y'all later.
See you guys.